4:37 hours. Sector Uniform Sierra, 20 nautical miles south of Sri Lanka. The darkness inside the Combat Information Center, CIC, is broken only by the cold glow of the ANBQQ-10 consoles. At 400 feet deep, a U.S. Navy Los Angeles-class attack submarine glides like a steel specter, executing the world's most dangerous dance. Its prey, the Iris Dena, one of the few surface platforms remaining in the Islamic Republic of Iran's fleet. The Dena is nervous. Its sonar operators are hammering the ocean with active pings, a violent acoustic signature desperately searching for an echo, a contact, anything confirming they are not alone in these waters. Meanwhile, its ASR 3D radar sweeps the horizon in a frantic 360-degree cycle. The Iranian captain knows he is being hunted. To survive, he uses the only tactic left: erratic zigzagging at 15 knots. At the American submarine's fire control console, the sonar technician watches the Waterfall display. A green line, nearly imperceptible, crawls degree by degree. This is TMA, target motion analysis. The objective: triangulate bearing, speed, and range using passive sound alone. It's like measuring the exact distance of a car by listening only to its engine while the driver constantly changes lanes. Every 90 seconds, the Dena brakes sharply. The firing solution, that perfect mathematical equation on the verge of crystallizing, shatters. The green line scatters. The technician curses silently and resets the algorithm. It's a battle of wills. Iranian survival instinct against the cold precision of NATO's computational calculus. But time is running out. On the Dena's stern deck, an SH-3C King helicopter is warming its turbines. If that ASW Hunter deploys its dipping sonar, the invisible giant's advantage could vanish in an instant. What you are about to witness is no routine drill. It is the execution of a sentence handed down from the highest levels of the Pentagon. The order CENTCOM is about to transmit through ELF, extremely low frequency. Frequencies will redefine the balance of power in the Indian Ocean and send shockwaves all the way to Tehran. I assure you, you will regret missing the tactical twist we reveal later, where strategic audacity outmatches sensor technology alone. This event marks the first time since Japan's surrender in 1945 that an American Steel Wolf has received a green light for an attack of this nature against a surface unit in a non-declared war scenario. But the true genius of this operation lies not solely in the torpedo's impact, it lies in the shadow theater that precedes it. Midway through this report, you will discover how a colossal 200,000-ton South Korean LNG tanker became the radar Trojan horse that allowed the Los Angeles class to slip past a cutting-edge sensor network. Sovereignty is not requested, it is exercised. And today, the U.S. Navy is about to deliver a masterclass in why the ocean still has one undisputed owner. Don't look away, because the strategic calculus we analyze next proves that in modern warfare, those who blink simply cease to exist. To understand why the Iris Dena was on a collision course with oblivion, we must analyze the psychology of desperation in Tehran. The Iranian regime, strangled by sanctions and commanding a fleet that is largely a Cold War floating museum, needed a public relations victory. Its participation in the multinational Milan 2026 exercises alongside the Indian Navy was no mere naval courtesy exchange. It was a deliberate attempt to reverse engineer NATO tactics. The Dena's captain spent 2 weeks absorbing every ASW, anti-submarine warfare, maneuver, believing that observing world powers would grant him an armor of knowledge. Fatal error. While Iran played at being a blue water navy, analysts from the NSA and ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, were dissecting its acoustic signatures and reaction times. The Dena was not learning to hunt, it was handing over its own death certificate on a silver platter. The Iranian calculation was simple but arrogant. Use the proximity of Sri Lanka's territorial waters as a legal shield while projecting an A2, AD, anti-access area denial bubble over one of the world's most critical commercial arteries. They believed US ROE, rules of engagement, always tethered to international bureaucracy, would grant them impunity to harass merchant traffic. They did not account for the fact that To the Pentagon, the Dena was no longer a diplomatic actor, it was a target of opportunity, designed to send a message. Global surveillance has no blind spots. Iran sought a political trap, hoping an aggressive US Navy move would trigger a diplomatic incident with Colombo or New Delhi. What they got was a lesson in military realpolitik. The sovereignty of the seas is not negotiated in UN forums, it is dictated from the torpedo room of a predator that appears on no commercial radar. Invisibility is a finite resource, and the submarine commander has just checked the clock. 3 countdowns are racing toward mission failure. The first is pure physics, the Thermocline. That layer where warm surface water meets the cold abyss, acting as a prism that bends sound, is weakening. XBT, expendable bathythermograph, data is unambiguous. The layer thins by the hour. In 6 hours, the acoustic refuge disappears, transforming the ghost into a steel target. The second clock is geographic. The Dena is sailing parallel to the coast, barely 20 miles out. If the Iranian captain turns north, he crosses the 1-2 nautical mile limit. Once inside Sri Lanka's territorial waters, the shot is politically impossible. The tactical window closes at 15 knots per hour. The third clock roars above the frigate's deck. The SH-3 Sea King is ready. Its low-frequency dipping sonar is an executioner. It lowers a transducer below the thermal layer, eliminating the submarine shield. It is the acoustic equivalent of walking behind a curtain to find whoever is hiding. But the greatest dilemma is silence. To receive CENTCOM's execution order, the submarine must ascend to periscope depth. ELF, extremely low frequency, only carries rudimentary text, a call me signal. For the final green light, they need a satellite uplink. That means breaking the surface with a communications mast, exposing themselves to the Iranian ASR 3D radar. 1 second of exposure, 1 stray radar return, and the advantage is gone. The solution is a high-stakes gamble. A 200,000-ton South Korean LNG tanker is advancing through the corridor. The navigator calculates the geometry. If the submarine ascends exactly on the bearing line between the Merchant and the Dena, the mast will be hidden in the giant vessel's radar shadow. This is the shield of the innocents. At 4:48, the officer of the watch orders the ascent. Thermal protection fades, flow noise rises. The mast breaks the surface, the uplink locks, the authorization arrives. Weapons free. Before torpedo tube number 1 is flooded, we need to take the temperature inside the command center. In this shadow game, ethics is a luxury few can afford. If you were the Los Angeles-class commander and the Dena was moments from Sri Lanka's sovereign immunity, would you pull the trigger? Is international law real protection, or merely an obstacle to surgical justice? Leave your answer below. A, for full respect for sovereignty, or B, for neutralization without concessions. If it's clear to you who dictates the rules in this ocean, type total dominance right now. The algorithm, just like our sonar, is listening. With CENTCOM's authorization blinking on the console, the commander gives the order. But to understand the fate of the Iris Dena, we must understand the crown jewel of the submarine arsenal, the Mark 48 ADCAP, Advanced Capability. Forget World War II torpedoes, this is not a projectile. It is a 2-1-inch diameter, 3,500-pound underwater robot of pure lethality, engineered for the planet's most hostile environment. The Mach 48's heart runs on Auto-Fuel 2, a monopropellant that carries its own oxidizer. It needs no air intake, produces no exhaust bubbles, and leaves no white surface wake betraying the shooter's position. While older torpedoes screamed their presence with a neon arrow pointing back at the submarine, the ADCAP uses a pump jet propulsor instead of a conventional propeller. Result: zero cavitation, near absolute silence. A whisper at 55 knots in the middle of a roaring stadium. But the true magic lies in its guidance system. As the weapon exits the tube, it deploys a communication wire as thin as a human hair. Through this filament, the fire control technician aboard the submarine drives the torpedo. The operator sees what the torpedo sees, correcting course, evading obstacles, overriding Iranian countermeasures. It's like piloting a race car via a silk thread from 7 miles away, blindfolded, trusting only the data flowing through that filament. Yet the wire is a two-way chain. While the thread holds, the submarine is tethered. It cannot maneuver sharply, it cannot flee. If the wire severs, the Mech 48 activates its own brain, a 2D phased array high-frequency seeker that maps the ocean ahead. When this seeker wakes up 2 miles from the target, the ocean's acoustics change forever. For the Dena's crew, that first active pulse from the torpedo is the sound of the end. At 2 miles from the target, the Mark 48 awakens. The rush of water over its nose fades as the phased array seeker begins its acoustic sweep. Aboard the Iris Dena, time freezes. An Iranian sonar operator hears the sound no sailor ever wants to process: the high-frequency chirp of a torpedo in terminal phase. It is not ambient noise, it is a constant, aggressive signature pointing directly at their center of buoyancy. The Iranian captain immediately orders countermeasures. Acoustic decoys are launched, noise generators designed to seduce the torpedo's electronic brain and draw it away from the hull. In a conventional engagement, this might work, but here, NATO's technological deus ex machina intervenes. Through the fiber-optic filament, the fire control technician aboard the submarine makes a surgical adjustment. He overrides the decoy signatures with a direct software command, manually locking onto the silhouette of 1,500 tons of real steel. The weapon's artificial intelligence and the operator's human judgment fuse into a single lethal code. The end is not a blunt impact against the hull, it is a geometric execution. The Mark 48 does not seek the hull, it seeks the keel, the frigate's structural spine. Thanks to its magnetic influence fuse, the torpedo passes beneath the vessel and detonates at the optimal point. The physics are merciless. The explosion creates a massive gas bubble that lifts the Dena's stern out of the water. For a fraction of a second, 94 meters of Iranian naval engineering hang, suspended in the air, held by nothing but a column of superheated gas. Gravity and bubble collapse do the rest. The keel snaps like a plastic ruler. Without a direct hit, software and fluid dynamics have permanently disabled the threat. As the frigate splits in two and begins its descent to the seafloor, the adversary's weapon system is reduced to digital scrap, humiliated by an enemy it never saw. 8 hours. Final coordinates. The Indian Ocean is unforgiving. Where a 1,500-ton frigate once sailed, only an oily slick remains scraps of life rafts and a sepulchral silence that only nature can impose. Periscope imagery, released by the Pentagon just 6 hours later, shows the brutality of precision. 94 meters of Iranian steel folding like paper before being swallowed by the abyss. No heroism, no last stand, only applied physics and a technological superiority that admits no reply. As Sri Lankan rescue boats reach the area to collect the remnants of an outsized ambition, the ghost is already gone. The Los Angeles-class submarine has submerged once more below the Thermocline, reclaiming its cloak of invisibility. The S-6G reactor purrs in the darkness, and the towed array deploys again, sweeping the ocean for the next threat. For the crew, this was no epic victory, it was just another Wednesday at the office of global hegemony. The lesson for reckless challengers in Tehran and beyond is clear. Do not defy the rule makers if you are not prepared for invisible consequences. World order is maintained through constant vigilance and the capacity to strike unseen, leaving no thermal trace, no acoustic signature. The Iris Dena is now a monument to miscalculation, a reminder that in the modern geopolitical arena, sovereignty is a privilege guaranteed only by those who control the electromagnetic and acoustic spectrum. If you want to understand how cutting-edge technology and cold-blooded strategy dictate who survives in tomorrow's conflicts, this is your place. Don't let the noise of the mainstream press hide the technical truth from you.